Quick disclaimer, I am so sorry. The audio quality is not the best. We aren't filming at our normal location and we had to do this over a phone call, so I'm really sorry about that. Still going to be a great episode. Please, please, please enjoy this and please give a like and subscribe.
Welcome to the premiere episode of Ball Knowledge with Isaac Margolis and Kishan Bahara. I am so excited for this first episode. Personally, my dream is to one day work in the NFL, hopefully for my favorite team, the Minnesota Vikings, and I'm just so excited to share my takes with you guys. Anything to say, Kish?
Yeah, I'm really excited to do this podcast. I really love football, and I think that we're going to have a lot of fun on here. Let's do it.
All right, so this first episode, we're going to be talking about our predictions for the championship games. So first up, I thought we'd take it to the AFC where we got the juggernauts, the Bills versus the Chiefs. And yeah, Kishan, take it away.
Yeah, so I think that both the Bills and the Chiefs really played well in their divisional games. I think that the Chiefs dominated a little bit more than the Bills. I do think that the Ravens defense though kind of helped make things a little tough for the Bills, and I think that if the Bills can kind of touch up on some of their offensive struggles with running the ball a little bit, I think that it would be a good matchup for them on the defensive side of the ball and the offensive side of the ball.
I mean, personally, I want to give a shout-out to the Bills Mafia. $95,000 and more has been donated to Mark Andrews' charity. I mean, I don't know how else the Bills can say thank you to Mark Andrews for sending them to the AFC Championship.
Yeah, I think the Bills definitely got lucky in that situation, especially when Mark Andrews completely gave the ball to the Bills after he completely dropped it. And I think that there were a lot of miscues by that Ravens offense that really propelled the Bills. That other Mark Andrews drop. Then right after a Lamar Jackson fumble, I think that the Bills somewhat got lucky in that game. So if they can just, now they're away at the Chiefs, and Arrowhead's always a tough place to play. So I think that they just got to, touch up on a couple things, make sure they turn to their backups on defense, because the Bills' defense has been injured. Quite a few players have been injured now after the divisional game.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I think that even though the Bills, they're going to have some backups in, I still think this is Josh Allen's game to lose. I mean, he is the front runner for MVP after, I think, beating Lamar Jackson gives him the front runner. And he can do everything. He can run. He is, a massive human being. You can't tackle him. And, the Ravens proved, you cannot tackle Josh Allen. He has the tightest zip on the ball in the entire league. And even with this, what people thought was going to be this depleted receiving core, he balled out and had one of his best seasons in his career.
Yeah, no, I think that, Josh Allen's huge frame at 6'5", 237 really gives them such a versatile piece to use on offense, especially on fourth downs. We saw this in that game. Fourth downs were just too easy for them. I mean, they would just run Josh Allen up the middle. They would do, anything to use his abilities to get those first downs. So
yeah,
I think that Josh Allen, yeah.
Patrick Mahomes, this is just his game to win. This, I still feel like the Chiefs got a little bit of the upper hand here just because they've got the 3-time Super Bowl champ, the second greatest quarterback of all time at this point, Patrick Mahomes. I mean, what hasn't he done at this point? He makes throws look easy. He makes the hardest throws in the league look easy, and he has probably some of the best decision-making we've ever seen out of the quarterback position. And, he's played the Bills numerous times now in the playoffs, and he's shown time and time again, he knows Josh Allen's number. He can beat the Bills. So I feel like in this game, it's definitely going to be Josh Allen, and the offense really needs to step it up and show that they can match what the Chiefs do.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think that I think that Josh Allen is the X factor in this game for sure. Because the reality is that Patrick Mahomes knows how to beat the Bills. He's beat them again and again, and he knows that, if looking back just to last year, I mean, what an amazing game last year between the Chiefs and the Bills, and the Chiefs still came out on top just because of a missed field goal by Tyler Bass. That really sealed the fate for them. So I think the Bills just keep coming close and close, even going back to that AFC Championship a couple years ago when, the Travis Kelce game-winning touchdown in overtime. The Bills just keep coming so close. And I think that this time it's finally their chance to shine, and I think that they do end up winning the game, but I still think Josh Allen needs to have a good game, and I think that the Chiefs have the slight upper hand, especially with the way that Patrick Mahomes plays against the Bills.
I agree. I feel like no one else has a bigger chip on his shoulder in this league than Josh Allen at this point, because time and time again he's just come up so close and so short. It's kind of like the 90s all over again for the Bills. And like this year is like the year where he finally is just putting it all together, and he beat the Chiefs in the regular season. So they really need to show that they can actually win this playoff game when it really matters and send his team to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, let's talk about that game. The last time they played, obviously, at Arrowhead, 21-30, back in November. I think that, that game really, really shows that how important the playoffs are to Patrick Mahomes. Because in these situations, he does not lose. And Josh Allen knows that, he can beat Mahomes in the regular season, but the playoffs are completely different. Last time they played, Josh Allen threw 262 yards, a touchdown, interception. Mahomes, 196 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. I think that Patrick Mahomes significantly needs to raise that 196 passing yards if he wants to win this game, and I think Josh Allen needs to, build upon what happened in the last game. He also rushed for 55 yards and a touchdown. So if Josh Allen can use his legs, use his arm talent, and I think that he'll make it very hard for the Chiefs.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I mean, I really think the big thing here is, like, not only is Josh Allen, I feel like the receiving core has to show that they can step up, because, like, the Bills, they traded for Amari Cooper, and everyone thought, like, this was going to be, like, this massive, like, receiving addition to the team that people, like, thought was lost. And, like, the last time they played the Chiefs, Amari Cooper only had 2 catches, and no receiver on the team had more than 70 yards.
Yeah, definitely. I think the another thing that makes, Josh Allen's season so remarkable is that he lost Stephon Diggs. This was his first year without Stephon Diggs.
And Gabe Davis.
And Gabe Davis, right. And he's just blossomed into this incredibly good quarterback using, Keon Coleman was obviously a great addition in the draft out of Florida State. I think that Khalil Shakir has been he stepped up, definitely, for sure. And then I think that they just need to use the receivers in a way that will help them bring Josh Allen to, a situation that they could win this game.
I mean, yeah, I think that, like, this year with, like, no real number one receiver, Josh Allen has had, like, the freedom to just, like, spread out the ball wherever he wants.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean,
he's got the 2-headed monster at tight end with Knox and
Kincaid, yeah.
He's got Shakir, Curtis Samuel, Amari Cooper,
Matt
and
Collins.
Keon Coleman, Matt Collins.
Yeah,
and that guy's fits are crazy in the cold.
Yeah. I also just want to go back, speaking of the Bills, I mean, their defense is so beat up right now. They have 4 starters questionable. Matt Milano, who is the star linebacker, All-Pro, limited participant in today's practice. Christian Benford, starting cornerback, was a limited participant. Taron Johnson, a limited participant, another starter. And Taylor Rapp did not participate, obviously. Taylor Rapp being a huge part of this defense. So, it's going to be really tough to see how these guys step into their roles, especially DeMar Hamlin. I think he needs to really have a good game here in order to win.
Chiefs got, like, they have nobody on the injured report. Everybody seems to be at full strength right now. And, yeah, I know. Like, there's everyone on the Bills needs to step up. Damar Hamlin needs to step up. Kyrie Elam needs to step up. Everybody on that team really needs to take a step up, especially against Patrick Mahomes, knowing how he can dissect the defense.
Yeah, and I think one really, really slept on part of this game is going to be the pass rush because, that Chiefs offensive line has played so well this season. So if the guys up
you were
front,
talking about the defensive line.
Yeah. I mean, no, I'm just saying the guys up front on the offensive line for the Chiefs have played so well, and I think that, Greg Rousseau, and Jordan Phillips and Ed Oliver, those guys need to bring it home. Von Miller, they need to play well on that defensive line and push Patrick Mahomes, away out of the pocket, get him out of the pocket. I know you could argue that he's more dangerous outside the pocket, but if they can at least put some pass rush, maybe they can use the linebackers to try to, stop him from gaining yards. But it'll be a tough task.
I think it's honestly it's gonna be a lot harder for the Bills. I mean, the Chiefs' defensive line is just absolutely stacked. I mean, in my opinion, George Karlaftis is one of the most underrated players in the entire league. I genuinely think if he were on any other team, he would be a number one option. He absolutely he's been torching teams in the playoffs this year. And obviously you got Chris Jones, best defensive tackle in the league. Everybody on that line is just spectacular. They've had 8 sack games this year, and it's just crazy. I think the Bills have got a massive challenge up ahead, especially with their starting center. He is also kind of got an injury concern. Connor McGovern, he's had a shoulder issue this week.
Yeah, Connor McGovern is a huge part of this team.
Yeah, and Deion Dawkins, all these guys on the offensive line, they really need to be on their A game for this, especially against a team that has experience and knows how to win in these games.
No, for sure. And one thing I want to talk about too is the ref problem with Patrick Mahomes. We saw it last game against the Texans. Obviously that horrendous roughing the passer play on Will Anderson. That all of America saw wasn't a penalty. We also saw that horrible unnecessary roughness penalty also against the Texans when 2 Texans players, I think it was Henry Tones, hit their heads together, and they called it on the Texans, which was obviously a terrible call. And I think we also saw another instance of this. He tried to take advantage of the refs when he slowed down just towards the sideline.
I know exactly the play you're talking about. He pushed himself out of bounds. He flopped.
Yeah, and I think Patrick Mahomes is so good at everything when it comes to football. He's good at on the field football, and he's good at, taking advantage of the refs off the field. So I feel
I'll give him credit. He's the best actor in the league.
Yeah, no, it was something that J.J. Watt said that really, made me think about that. He really is. He can do it all. He can manipulate the refs, and he can play as well as any quarterback we've ever seen. So
I mean, we all saw Andy Reid on his knees with the refs before game, and I'm not gonna talk about that in case we got some children watching, but there was definitely something thought of.
Yeah, that was a little. Yeah, that was definitely.
Yeah, but there are some statistics the Chiefs get the the 31st in calls against them, 31st in the league. So. Yeah. I don't know how big of a factor the refs are going to be. I agree. It does seem to be in the biggest moments the Chiefs are getting the calls by the refs, but I don't know how much the refs are actually going to be a very big factor in this game.
Yeah, we'll see what happens if they start to get strict with Patrick Mahomes or not. But
yeah.
What is your score prediction for this game?
Oh. I think this is going to be a really close one. I could see this game going into overtime, just like other Bills Chiefs games. I think this one's going to be more of a shootout than people expect. Even though I still think that each team is going to get 5+ sacks on the day. I think that it's probably going to be somewhere 38-35 Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes wins the AFC Championship for the umpteenth time. Just goes right back to the Super Bowl.
Sure, yeah. And I think that I think the Chiefs' luck runs out here. I think the Bills finally get over the playoff hump, and I think that they go to the Super Bowl. It's hard to tell if they win the Super Bowl or not yet, but I think that Josh Allen, he takes that chip on his shoulder and he really plays like he wants it, and I think he has for a while, and I think it's finally their time to shine. I think I'm taking the Bills 27-24 in overtime.
Yeah, that's America's team right there. I feel like everybody I talk to just wants the Bills to win. It's crazy, like how much people have turned on the Chiefs over the past couple of years.
I guess now is a good time to move on to talk about the NFC Championship, the battle of the NFC East, the Philadelphia Eagles versus the Washington Commanders. First, I just want to start off by talking about the Eagles. I mean, that was
like one of the worst offensive performances from the Eagles this past year. And I don't know whether that's to deal with the snow or like Jalen Hurts' just like inability to throw the ball. And I know he was injured, but it was still like, I don't know how much that's going to affect him this week. But I mean, Saquon, obviously, massive game, 200 plus yards rushing, and franchise record, I think, in playoff yards so far. But yeah, I don't think that game against the Rams was a very good game to watch. I mean, it was a low-scoring game. They only won by 8 points, and part of that was a flop, like very like bad game management by the Rams in a 2-minute drive.
Oh, for sure.
And I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know how strong the Eagles are going into this game.
Yeah, I think that the Eagles really, really got to lean on Saquon Barkley here. I mean, the guy's been, he's had a sensational season for any player in the NFL. I mean, even as a running back, he's had probably the best season I've been alive for. Obviously, other than Adrian Peterson, but it's been incredible from him. I think that
I love Adrian Peterson.
Yeah, of course, but I think that it's been incredible.
I mean, yeah, and it seems like their entire team is like absolutely like destroyed. Like AJ Brown was a limited participant in practice up until this past day. Dallas Goedert and Cam Jurgens, like Pro Bowlers respectively, are both not participating in practice.
Right. I mean,
and
also on that defense, yeah, Nakobe Dean, which is a huge blow. Huge blow to this Georgia Eagles defense.
The Georgia Eagles defense. Yeah, he was their second leading tackler up until his injury, and it was a huge blow. Like it was obvious. Like the Rams seem to like have their way over the middle of the field sometimes, and part of that could have been due to Nakobe Dean just like not being his like enforcer role in the middle.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think that the Eagles defense has been good this year, and I think that they just gotta. That secondary is so good. They have two finalists for Defensive Rookie of the Year in Cooper DeJean and Quinyon Mitchell, who have been, sensational.
Best song ever for an NFL player,
yeah,
Cooper DeJean.
For sure, Cooper DeJean. And I also want to talk about one of the most underrated players in the NFL, and that is linebacker Zach Bond. I mean, the guy is so underrated. He has been probably a top 3 linebacker in the league this year, which is, incredible because nobody really saw it coming. I mean, the guy spent the last couple seasons with the Saints, came over this year for the Eagles. Hasn't really done much.
Contract prove it deal. He's absolutely shown that he could get a crap ton of money in this league.
He's a stud. And, between that really good secondary with Darius Slay, Quinyon Mitchell, Reed Blankenship has been playing really well. And
Don't
up
forget
front,
about CJ.
Yeah, sure, yep. CJ Gardner-Johnson has been playing well. And obviously, Jalen Carter has been a force to be reckoned with.
I know you think that your Bears should have taken him.
Yeah, I have my opinion certainly, but I think that we made the right decision. But that might not sit well with other Bears fans. I think that Darnell Wright has been awesome. So
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I think Jalen Carter is potential to be the best defensive tackle in the league, and he just impacts the game so much. Like he against the Rams, I think he was single teamed 8 times and had pressure on more than half of those times. And it was just absolutely crazy to watch, and obviously, like, multiple sacks and completely just wrecked the game for the Rams.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think that his 6.5 sacks, including the postseason, have been a complete game changer for them. So
Yeah, I mean,
he'll be such an important factor going into this game.
Yeah, I mean, but then again, like, look who they're up against. The team that just dismantled what everyone thought was going, like, the shoo-in for the NFC Super Bowl team. Everybody thought the Lions were going to the Super Bowl.
I have the Lions actually winning, so it was really shocking for me to see them go down. I think that Jaden Daniels is just so incredible, and I think it also, brought out Jared Goff's true colors. I mean, I think he's a game manager, and I think that the Rams won that trade to this day, and I think they will continue to win that trade unless the Lions win a Super Bowl, which is not looking good considering they just lost their entire staff. But,
oh my goodness, yeah. I saw some meme today of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, like, just standing all alone in his house, and, like, the meme was like Dan Campbell in the coaches meeting today. And I just, like, started cracking up. I don't know. I just thought it was so funny. Like, the entire team is literally gone.
Right. No, it sucks. I think that, when you coach a staff that well, when you put them in positions for success, I think that it's bound to happen. I think that, I'm biased, but I think that Ben Johnson will really succeed here in Chicago. I don't know.
As a Vikings fan, I also think that Ben Johnson, sadly, will be really good in Chicago.
Yeah. I mean, also, talking about Aaron Glenn, I mean, he could be really good too. I think that he did so much with this defense considering how injured they were the entire year. He did so much. So,
by the way, going back to Ben Johnson, how much is he kicking his heels right now, like angry that he did not take the Commander's job, and instead it's going to probably who is the candidate finalist for Coach of the Year, Dan Quinn himself, who has absolutely changed the entire spectrum of what we thought the Commanders were going to be. Like, nobody thought the Commanders were going to be that good this year. And he's completely come in and changed the entire course of their history.
I know you think that Kevin O'Connell should win Coach of the Year. After his abysmal performance against the Rams, it should be Dan Quinn. I think it should be unanimously Dan Quinn. I mean, the guy took a rookie quarterback, who's oozing with talent, and he's turned him into, what could be a Super Bowl winning quarterback, which is unheard of in your rookie year. Unheard of in your rookie year. So it's pretty incredible.
Not even the great Patrick Mahomes can do that.
No, not even. So it's definitely really exciting to see.
Yeah, no, I'm I'm stoked for the Commanders. Like, they're my team. I would love to see the Commanders win the Super Bowl this year. And I just think that offensive attack, they've got the dual threat running back with Austin Eckler. They've got Brian Robinson, who is just a beast up the middle. Yeah. And obviously they've got their receivers. They've got Scary Terry. They've got Diami Brown. Like, their team is.
And Noah Brown.
I thought don't they have Diami Brown too?
You have Diami Brown and Noah Brown, yeah.
All right, yeah, you got me confused for a second. I got worried. I'm like, I hope I'm
No, you're fine. No, but I think that, I mean, obviously I remember Noah Brown from the horrible, fateful day of the Hail Mary.
Oh, yes, of course. Tyreek Stevenson, what a bum.
No, I just wanted to take a minute to talk about, Ben Johnson and how he will handle guys like Tyreek Stevenson and how he will handle guys like Nate Davis. I just want to say that I think that Eberflus was such a passive coach. I think that was one of the big reasons why they weren't successful. I mean, you can't let something like that fly. I mean, he had to have seen it coming, the way Tyreek Stevenson acts, the way that he's been cocky. I think that, Ben Johnson will completely change the locker room. And I think that him taking the job in Chicago will be a complete game changer for this league.
Yeah, I agree. So back to the Commanders. I mean, they've also got like Mr. Reliable at tight end. They've got Zach Ertz, who's won it with the Eagles. So this is going to be a fun little game for him.
I think Zach Ertz actually has beef with the Eagles now.
He does. I think so. I mean, also on defense, they've got probably one of the best linebackers of all time, Bobby Wagner. Like, they've just got so much experience on this team, even though they've got so many young players. Like, even though Jaden Daniels is a rookie and is, like, the highlight of the team, really, this year, like, they've just got so many players with experience.
Yeah, I think the experience factor is huge. I mean, obviously, Bobby Wagner, but going back to the defense, the Commander secondary is not good. We know that. And they need to step up.
Give me my boy Mikey Sanderson with 2 picks.
Okay, Sandro has been really good, but talking about St. Juste, who has been just abysmal, and going up against, he's now going up against a really, really good receiving core for this Eagles team with AJ Brown, Devontae Smith. You got
Dotson, former Commander.
Yeah, Jahan Dotson, former
There's
Commander.
A lot of revenge games are storylines in this one.
A lot of revenge games, and I think that they'll show up today or on Sunday. I think.
Yeah.
I think that
the Commanders' defense, like we've got like the failed, like with corners especially, like we've got the failed experience last year, 2023 first-round pick, Emmanuel Forbes, who I think he was on the Rams.
Emmanuel Forbes, just a complete failure. I mean, you really hate to see it. The guy, he did get picked up by the Rams practice squad. You just really hate to see it because I was really, hoping that guy would work out. Yeah. But it is what it is. I also want to talk about, as good as we were talking about before, the Chiefs' offensive line. I think this Eagles' offensive line is even better. I mean,
I agree.
It's loaded with talent. You got Jordan Mailata, who's incredibly good at, the former rugby player, 7th year. He's been incredible. You got Lane Johnson, you got Mekhi Becton, you got Landon Dickerson, and obviously Juergens if he's able to go. So I think that's just completely stacked.
I want to talk about Mekhi Becton real quickly and his story. Like, going from what many people consider like a bust, like, tackle for the Jets, like, and Philly just coming in and just like taking an experiment that they didn't even think would last throughout the rest of like training camp. Like, they thought, we'll just try him, and if it works, it works. If it doesn't, he'll be a backup rotational tackle. And he has just excelled at the guard position. Like, you do not see someone with his frame of like 6'7", 6'8" lining up at guard. And he has been an absolute monster this year. Obviously, he struggles with penalty issues sometimes, but he has made the most out of his 1-year deal.
For sure. I feel like the guy is such an incredible story. He's been shifted around. He obviously started with the Jets, moved from left tackle to right tackle, and now he came to the Eagles and he's playing guard. It's kind of like what we saw with Tevin Jenkins, but obviously his story is completely different, being drafted 11th overall. So, it's not very often that you see a guy who's 6'7", 363 playing guard and not tackle with that type of frame.
Oh, yeah.
But it is really, turned out so well for them. And I think that, I think that Mekhi Becton will really help them going forward.
Yeah. I mean, I'm the Cam Juergens story, honestly, up until last year, I had no clue, late last year, I had no clue who Cam Juergens was. And I'm thinking at first when Jason Kelce retired, I'm like, oh my goodness, there's going to be such a hole on this team. How are they ever going to fill it? And Cam Juergens steps in, Pro Bowler, and the Eagles are just they keep just replacing players with Fletcher Cox to Jalen Carter, Jason Kelce to Cam Juergens. They just keep producing talent.
And you can even say that with Brandon Graham, and now how Nolan Smith has completely risen from the ashes. And Nolan Smith, another Georgia Bulldog, has been really good. Georgia Eagles. And so, I think that this game is going to be pretty darn good. It just comes down to how that Commanders defense holds up.
I don't know. I mean, I'm still I don't know what to think about A.J. Brown at this point in the playoffs, because he's now had 2 games in a row where he's just been an absolute non-factor. And I mean, sitting on the sidelines, reading his Inner Excellence book, and like obviously that author is like so happy that AJ Brown is reading his book, became the #1 bestseller on Amazon. But like he has just been doing cardio out there, like he's just been running, and he just hasn't been getting the ball.
I think you could put some blame on Jalen Hurts for some of that, but I think you can also blame AJ Brown, maybe.
Oh, yeah.
Who knows? Maybe
that drop, like a drop touchdown against the Rams, like. Oh,
for sure. Yeah, no, I think both teams will need to raise their level significantly.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like, I think right now, I think the Commanders honestly got like a tiny bit of an advantage just because of the how they played against the Lions. It's just going to carry over, and like Scary Terry is. Like, he has solidified himself as a top 10 receiver in this league, top 5 maybe.
For sure.
And, like, he is so severely underrated. He has put up 1,000 yards in every season, and his quarterbacks before this year have been absolutely abysmal. Like,
no, I mean, talk about it. Carson Wentz, Sam Howell, he was putting up 1,000 yards with Sam Howell.
Dwayne Haskins,
RIP. Yep.
I mean, oh, my God. What was that guy's name? He was on He was like the Carolina backup, like third stringer.
Oh, Taylor Heineke?
No, not him. Allen. His last name's Allen. He came in and
Brandon Allen?
I think it was either Brandon or like Kyle Allen or something like that.
Kyle Allen is Kyle Allen. Yeah.
Yeah, Kyle Allen. Yeah, and he putting up 1,000 yards with like a nobody is absolutely crazy to me. He is truly like, and the respect that I have for Terry McLaurin for like just sticking through it. It's like Damian Lillard, like he stuck through it, and he never like you never hear any media, like any backlash from Terry McLaurin, like ever like dumping on one of his teammates or anything.
Yeah, no, for sure. Real quick, I want to talk about the Commanders' special teams. So they have gone through. I want to say 3-4 kickers this year. They started out with Cade York. That didn't work out. Austin Seibert. That didn't work out.
Great kicker for a while.
Yeah, no, for sure. Seibert was doing really well, and now they got Zane Gonzalez, who obviously hit that clutch field goal. The OCD clutch field goal, doinked it in against the Buccaneers. So I think that, the kicking situation for them is.
I know you as a Bears fan is like kicking and screaming at that field goal. Like, how come their doink went in?
Yeah, no, for sure. It was. I hate talking about the Bears. I mean, I just want to say this: they're the most unlucky franchise in NFL history.
Give me your prediction for this game.
All right, my prediction for this game. I think that the Commanders are going to pull it off. I think it's going to be 34-33. I think it's going to be that close.
See, I'm on the opposite side of the spectrum, but I'm on the same side of the spectrum, but way, way further down it. Like, I think that Jaden Daniels is going to absolutely torch the Philly defense, throw for like 4-something more touchdowns. I think the Commanders are going to win by more than 10 points, and his rookie quarterback ass is going to take him to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I think that's a respectable take. I mean, Jaden Daniels has proved again and again that he's that guy. So he really is that guy. I mean, the guy can do it all. So we'll see what happens.
The one thing I want to say about the Commanders that I wish they did like a little better is I feel like their run game sometimes just becomes a little non-existent. Like it just becomes like a forgettable factor. Like Brian Robinson obviously has moments where he like looks like Marshawn Lynch. Like he is strong as heck. But then like you'll have moments where he just like gets like 2 yards per carry on like 7 straight carries, and you just forget about him.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think that Brian Robinson is a huge factor, obviously. They're now starting to run with Jeremy McNichols, too.
That's true, McNichols. I forgot about him.
Yeah, so, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, well, all right. I appreciate you, audience, guys, for listening. It's very fun. This was so fun to film, honestly. First podcast. I am so excited. I'm so happy for the future of this. Anything you want to say, Kish? before we wrap it
Yeah,
up?
thanks a lot. I had a lot of fun doing this, and I can't wait to see what comes out of it.
Yep. All right. Signing off.